Yo guys, what's going down? It's MC Noble here. Welcome back to another stream. In today's stream we are going to be talking about the highlights of my year. So I was just sitting here and thinking not too long ago, and I asked my friend Ant in the chat party what was the highlights of his year, and it got me thinking, what has been the highlight of my year? Because 2019, believe it or not, has actually been probably one of my best years that I've had in a very, very long time. The one thing that I've wanted to do well with has gone well, my music, and I've made absolutely loads of new friends, and I've just had a blast of a year. And if you go back from this time last year to this time now, to where we are now, the present and the current time, I've actually changed quite a lot in terms of like the things I do, the things I say, the way I act, and in some ways I've kind of got more grown up, but at the same time I've kind of still kept that childish sort of side, but a lot of me has changed. And it just really got me thinking though, what has been the highlights of my year? And I don't really just have a highlight of the year, I've got highlights of the year, because you know, several things have happened that, you know, I couldn't pick one best thing, but at the same, you know, I've got like a few things that I would like to be the best thing. Like I could name one thing, but then I also think like, yeah, but that was also a good highlight as well. So it's kind of like highlights of my year, because, you know, what have been some of the highlights, what have been some of the best parts of my year, and stuff like that. And I thought we'd kind of go ahead and sort of start with the most important thing for me. I do apologise. Bear with me. Okay, so yeah, I thought we'd go ahead and I thought we'd start with the highlight, with what I would believe is probably my first and probably most achievable highlight of my year, and that was obviously to get my name posted on an event flyer. Now you may be thinking like, why is a highlight of your year having your name down on a poster? Like, some of you might think a poster is just a poster, but when I began MCing in 2015, late July, early August to be exact, I didn't really know what I wanted to do with the MCing. It came as a little bit of a surprise to me, it came as a little bit of a shock, and it wasn't really, you know, I didn't really have any plans for it to really go, you know, what you would call, to really take it much in the way of farness, if that makes sense. It was just a bit of fun, something that just started out. And then as the months went by, and I'd obviously been MCing for quite a anonymous amount of months, maybe a couple of months by this point, and I'd put a few MCs up, you know, my followers and stuff started to slowly grow. I sort of thinking to myself like, you know what, I'm actually quite enjoying this, like to the point where I wanted to stick with it. And I was kind of like, it come to a point where I thought, you know, when I knew this was something that I wanted to stick with. I knew that the MCing was working for me at the moment. I knew that you know, I knew I was doing well with the MCing, and I sort of had this sort of like vision in my mind that if I kept it up, if I kept doing the MCing and kept going with the MCing, that I would surely, you know, do quite well with it. So I set myself a dream and a target, and I said my all-time dream right now, you know, at that current time, was, it would be my dream. I don't know when it would happen or if it would ever happen, but my dream would be to see my name on an event poster. And obviously this year saw Stomping versus Terminal Velocity put my name on the event poster, all in thanks to Dave Fallows for putting my name on the event flyer, which was, in my opinion, was just absolutely fantastic. It was everything that I wanted to happen, really, was to get my name upon the event flyer. That was something that just really helped me, having it on the event flyer. So that was absolutely wicked. That was like, it was just wicked to see my name upon the event flyer. And then obviously I went on to get my name on more event flyers, which currently right now I've actually been on 5 different posters. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is absolutely fantastic. 2 alliances, 1 Stomping, 1 unrestricted. And just recently got added to the Keeping It Core one. So getting on an event flyer for me, to get officially booked with somewhere, was obviously where I really wanted to. It was one big highlight of my year, and I was very grateful to get that opportunity to do the gig and be put on the flyer. Second highlight of my year has to be getting on the mic in a nightclub, because I remember the night exactly, the first time I ever got on the mic in a nightclub. I mean, I'd done my rugby club a couple of years ago, but that was just a bit of a laugh with the rugby guys. It was nothing, it wasn't serious like in a proper rave. And obviously I went to Stomping in February, and Dave openly said to me on the night, he said, the mic's there if you want to have a blast. And I'll admit, I didn't have the courage to do it. The club was practically empty. It was the beginning of the night, no one was hardly there. He openly said, have a go on the mic if you want. And this, that and the other. And if I'm going to be completely truthful with you, I just bottled it and didn't really know what to do, if I'm going to be truthful with you. So I just sort of listened to the music a bit. I kept thinking, if I have a couple of beers, calm my nerves down a bit, I might pick up the courage to jump on. And eventually someone who DJs, JW, who actually DJs at Stomping, he actually got me and said, you have a go on the mic if you want. And I finally just said, yeah, you know what, let's do it, I'll have a go. And he actually put me on with the freestyle, and this was the first time that I ever met the MC freestyle, and we did a little like B2B up on the stage. I spat a few bars, he spat a few bars, and I remember I spat an MC, and basically I carried on, lyric and rhyming, and the song sort of dropped, came into a bit of a break. It built back up, and I'd sort of really got into the swing of things. At the time I was like really buzzing, I was excited, and I went to begin MCing upon the beat drop. And Freestyle also had the thought in his mind to begin MCing upon the beat drop, and I slightly just went out of time slightly on the beat drop, so he literally just started MCing before me. So we almost like literally started MCing upon the same time. So he like began his rhyme, and then literally like almost a second after I began my rhyme. So it was like we both started MCing at the same time. And it was Sniper at the time who actually he stopped me, and then he was kind of like, he sort of showed me when to come in and when to come out, and when to let Freestyle spit his rhyme. And literally it was a highlight, it was a moment. It was my first time jumping on in a nightclub. I was a bundle of nerves. I probably sounded shocking compared to what I can sound now. I probably sounded shocking because I let myself get nervous, and I was nervous, so I was messing up because I was nervous. But it was a highlight. And then I remember the following Monday I had a message from the freestyle himself, which absolutely blew my mind. The thought that somebody who had been on flyers and posters and, you know, had MC'd for people like Scott Brown and, you know, practically, you know, MC'd with big people like WizKid, done big events like Uprising and been up north and down south, and, you know, basically done more gigs than I've had at dinners, was actually physically sending me an inbox and said he wanted to link, and said that he wanted to help me with some tips and stuff like that. And you would never think now that we do rap duos, and, you know, I go and stay over at his flat, and and that we get booked together, and it's just absolutely crazy. So getting on the mic in a nightclub has to be another highlight of my year. So another highlight of my year is got to be the friends that I've made, because I've made a whole bunch of new friends this year that I don't even class as friends. They're like family, and, you know, I can message them any time of the day and they'll be there for me. I can ring them if ever I'm feeling down, and I've just been sort of, because of freestyle, I've been brought into this like new crowd of people, getting on with the radio, the people from obviously the radio, apart from certain people, Mark Ingram, and a few other people who obviously like killed the vibe. But other than that, you know, I've made some absolutely amazing friends through this year. You know, the Warners, the Simmies, the Watsons, God, you know, the list could go on. You know, even people who just go to stomping, you know, and I maybe only see them like once a month at stomping, but, you know, you see them at stomping, you have a good catch up and you have a drink with them and stuff like that. But yeah, being in a new crowd of people has been absolutely wicked, because I've got this kind of feeling that people who I was, because obviously I don't live in Hull at the moment, I live outside of Hull, so I obviously travel to Hull. But where I live, and the people I know and have known, like, you know, from since school and all that sort of etc., I kind of feel in a way that they've got jealous of my achievements. They're jealous because, you know, my name's now on posters. They're jealous because I'm now doing well, and they stopped inviting me to, you know, for nights out. They stopped inviting me to birthday parties. They stopped inviting me to to numerous different occasions or gatherings, or I guess if you want to call them piss ups or whatever you want to call them, or, you know, people stop messaging me. They, you know, if I like get booked on a poster and I share the poster, none of them comment, you know, to say well done. None of them will, you know, no one will send a message, not even just to say like, how you doing, how you been, that sort of stuff. And it just kind of, it did upset me. Gotta admit, at first I was thinking like, well, you know, why don't they care anymore? Because they said when I got going with the MC, and, you know, when I hadn't been doing it too long, but I'd started to get into it, and I was starting to slightly improve from that first me starting MCing, and they all said, you know, I'll be there for you, I'll support you, blah blah blah. And obviously, you know, I don't expect everybody, you know, to like hardcore music. As a matter of fact, there's not many people I know that do. Throughout of the town where I live, it was you know, it's all sort of that modern bassliney or like Drakey rap that people like, and, you know, it's hard to get people who would come to raves like that with you. But you would think, like, just for the pure fact that someone you're friendly with has got an achievement in doing something that they love, you know, you would go and support them. I know if one of my friends was playing football and say he got signed for a big team or something and he was going to be on a televised match, I know I would go and watch him at the football match to support him. even though I purely don't like football. And it would be the same with anything, hockey or ice hockey or anything like that. If they got something quite big coming up, a boxing match, and it weren't really my cup of tea, I'd still support them as a friend, because in my eyes that's what friends do. In my eyes, friends appreciate what their friends are interested in. I appreciate what my friends like. So if they got something, if they did well in something that they like, I would obviously I'd go and support them. It'd be like, say if I had a friend who had been on the dole, say for a few years, and he finally got his life back together and he got a job in a takeaway. I would go and order some food in that takeaway. I'd go and support him, see him at work, let him serve me, that sort of thing. So friends to me has been a big highlight, because I've made some new friends, not as such replace the old friends. I'll never sort of replace the old friends, or I'd never remove them off Facebook and stuff like that, and I'd never obviously cut them off and stuff like that. They're my friends, I'd never do that. But I guess in a way, I just don't, it was me that was constantly going to the pub to see if they were there and to see if they were up to anything. It was constantly me messaging them and saying, what are you up to, asking how they were, and they weren't giving the same back. So in a way, I kind of it got to the point where I was just like, there's no point. So I haven't, what you would call, fallen out with them, but if they wonder why they don't see me for a while, that's obviously why they don't see me for a while. But friends has definitely been a highlight of my year. So obviously the flyer, the nightclub gigs, and the friends has been the highlight of my year. And to be completely truthful with you, that really has been highlights of my year. Outside of musical wise, it's just been a normal year. Outside of music, I've played the PS4, I've attended my appointments, I've woke up each day, I've had my meals, my food and my tea. I've gone to bed at night. I've played the games I enjoy. I'm blessed to live, I suppose. Really it's the music that's made it a good year. Like every year's been a good year for music, but this year certainly got a little bit more serious when I obviously started to get the bookings up on the flyers and the posters and everything like that. But what's been the highlight of your year? I'd really like to know down in the comment section below. Obviously you can watch this when it isn't live, but I'd like to know what's the highlight of your what's the highlight of your year. And if you haven't had a good year for whatever reason, don't feel like you can't speak out. Sometimes people have different things going on, and they don't feel like they can maybe say about it. Obviously I'm not expecting you to expose like big secrets or anything, but I'm here for people if there's reasons why they haven't had a bad year. Or sometimes the way I see it as well is, some people, you can have a good or a bad year, and if you have a bad year, sometimes it can be down to you. Some people put on Facebook like same old year or something like that, but have you done anything to make that change? Have you done the get up and go? Whereas like this year, I knew that I wanted to get onto posters, so I sent demos out, started going to local events, trying to get on the mic. Obviously I've done the linking with freestyle, so I knew in my life that if I wanted to take the music further, I had to do something about it, and I had to make that next step, if you get what I mean. I had to make that next step. I couldn't just sit in the bedroom MCing all the time. I had to sort of make, as much as MCing in the bedroom was still good, I had to make that change to get up and give myself that boost, give myself the power, the go to kind of take the next step, send demos about. And this is why I said about in that stream, going back couple of weeks now about the demos. You know, sending demos is vitally important if you are in the music, because it's one good way to get booked. It's a good way for an event promoter to see exactly what you're capable of, and to see what you've done, and to hear you in action before they decide whether they want to book you, or whether they say yes, if ever we're looking for someone, we'll bear you in mind. DJs, MCs, singers, you know, if you want to sing at a local pub or something, or you want to bring your band to a local pub, show that local pub why your band should perform there. Show them what you can do, show them what you're capable of, show them your skills and talent, and then they should help you. But yeah, it's been a good year as 2019, and we haven't got long left of 2019. We've got 2 weeks on Wednesday. 2 weeks on Wednesday it will actually be 2020. We'll be on a brand new year, and it's going to be absolutely fantastic. It's going to be wicked. It's going to be absolutely fan-dabby-dozy. And we're going to do so many more cool things, hopefully, in 2020. But going on to, again, good years and bad years, sometimes you've got to make that change to have a better year. If something's going wrong, you need to think, why is it going wrong? What can I do to try and stop it from going wrong? And you know, sometimes you've got to make that change, or go out of the comfort zone and into a different routine to make something happen. And that's what I did with the music, with the sending the demos. And as you can obviously see, I've been on 5 posters this year, which, to say I'm upcoming, to get on 5 posters in 1 year isn't too bad. I mean, I know, like, it's only 5 and we have 12 months in a year, so that's only like 12 events. But then there's all the events that I've MC'd at, like all the stompings where I've jumped on the mic, where I've not officially been booked. There was the R House one that I officially got booked at, which is actually on here somewhere as well. Where is it? It's somewhere on here. Yeah, here it is. Look, yeah, this is the where I was a guest MC. So this goes right back. This takes us right back to before everything, really. This is where I really jumped on in a nightclub for the first time. This was an R House, and like you say, there we go, people. That, you know, you can really decide how it goes from there. But anyway, people, I think that is gonna about do it. I think that is gonna. But yeah, there we go, people. That's going to do it. So, like I said, let me know in the comment section below what is your highlight. What was some of the highlights of your years? Did maybe you went on holiday somewhere that you'd never been before, or maybe you got the job that you always wanted, or maybe for whatever reason, or maybe it was the year you left school, and maybe you haven't liked school and you couldn't wait to leave it, and it was a highlight finally leaving after going to school for years. Maybe you passed at college, maybe you passed a driving test, maybe you passed a motorbike test, maybe you got gigs in music as well, or maybe you proposed to your girlfriend, maybe you got a girlfriend, or maybe someone you hadn't seen in years returned home, or returned back to the town where they used to live, or for whatever reason. You know, what has been a highlight of your year? Post it down in the comment section, and get a little discussion going. So like, comment and share. We'll see you guys in the next stream. Also, if you have any ideas for things that I can stream and talk about, because I enjoy doing stuff like this, like highlights of my year. Like I'll do streams about anything. You know, I'll do streams like for storytelling, and streams about my MCing, and, you know, giving tips and stuff like that. And I'll talk about experiences. So let me know. Yeah, let me know, people. So yeah, like, comment and share. Peace.